January 22nd, 2014. Guys, this is a carving of Marduk. And you've seen several videos I've done about some of the ancient Sumerian clay tablets and things like that. And we've even talked about it on the radio show with Michael. We talked about the return of Marduk. Many people think that that is when the return of the fallen angels, things like that are going on, and the key to the bottomless pit is opened. Now, here, notice he's holding a pine cone in his right hand, as if he's planting it or turning it or placing it or taking it out. Now, the pine cone, as many of you know, is a symbol of the pineal gland. That's what this is entirely the subject matter in these ancient statues and carvings. The pineal gland is, again, many of you know, is the small gland in the center of your brain. And many call it God's, the antenna to receive God's messages. And it's activated by sunlight is one of the things, and these gamma ray bursts and solar flares. And guys, this is the third part of what we've been talking about in gamma ray bursts. And it's the most important part, and one of the more important videos that I've done, because through this research there's a lot of enlightening information here. So, and it's for, if you've got the eyes to see and the ears to hear, I think you'll understand. But again, pine cone pineal gland. Now, this is a receptor. It also controls the pituitary gland, that is your hormonal glands. It's the balance of life, your growth, mental health. Now, the pineal gland, represented by this pine cone, is not much larger than a grain of rice, and it's filled with water, like the water of life. And it can be destroyed. And if you were Satan, you were of the original bunch that came to God's earth where God had placed man, and the fallen angels fell and started manipulating the DNA, originally by seduction. Then, as we learn about in the Sumerian tablets, through actual DNA manipulation, then you start understanding the pattern. We knew that Satan didn't want the bloodline of Adam coming forth. But in these end times, we see the changing of the sun, the solar flares, the frequency of the sun, the frequency of the gamma ray burst, and these things affect your pineal gland. These are messages. They have certain frequencies. And guys, if that pineal gland was in its original position before it was manipulated, you would probably have much longer lives, like the guys in the Old Testament, like the people there. But if you wanted to destroy man, and you wanted to shut the antenna that received God's light, and the waters of life came from that light through the pineal gland, what would you do? You would destroy that pineal gland, and you would block as much sunlight as you could. This is, if you don't understand, which I think most of you do, don't let that worry you, because I'm not through with this. I want to go through a couple of things. Now, in some of the oldest carvings known to man, this goes way back, guys, pre-Egyptian, you actually see reptilian, bird-like beings with pine cones. Now, in the center of this, and again, your eyes are opening, is the DNA. This is your DNA. It also represents what's called the chakras of the body, starting from the bottom up to the top. The top chakra, or your meditative prayer state beacon, is at the top. And that's what they are doing with the pine cone. But the rest of this is your DNA structure, and it represents the energy portions of your body. Now, in their other hand, they're holding like a purse or a pouch. And many say this is what they call pollen. It's represented by chemicals like fluoride, the things they're putting in meat and your water. And but this is what we're looking at. I'm going to go further, but listen, this is where it started. Now, this is representing a race that is not human in the beginning, manipulating through the pineal gland the DNA of man. Now, in this stage, you've seen the reptilians. They have manipulated the DNA chain through the pineal gland, adjusting that. Now they've got man here. And these were some of the leaders back then, some of the demagogues, half men, half so-called gods, different beings. But here they have man, and you notice the pine cone in his hand in the back. And if you could see the whole, the entire carving, it's duplicated in where the man is standing to the right. I've seen images of it. I don't have one. They're in front of the tree of life, and it's on both sides. Now, here we are. So man has been created. So why is this creature having to readjust this pineal gland? He's also holding that purse or that bucket with the chemicals, the pollen. Some call it pine pollen. There's a couple of different meanings here, but what is being used now, like our fluoride and the things in our meats. I'm going to go in through that and in our water, guys. And it's all done for a purpose. The chemtrailing is to block the sunlight from the pineal gland. The chemicals that you see in this bucket that he's manipulating the pineal gland is used to turn off God's antenna. Not only that, your growth, your mental stability, your prayer and meditation mechanisms. Now, what did Enoch say? He said that these angels, these fallen angels, you see, some are men, some have wings, that they had taught men these things. You see this manipulation of these fallen angels with men. That's pine cones holding that same bucket of chemicals. That's the DNA tree of life, and above that is is Anu, the sky god, and the winged disc. You've seen in some of the other videos. Guys, it's deep, but it's simple. Now take a little closer look at this. Again, in the center, the winged disc with the sky god. The DNA in the center, represented by this tree of life. Pineal gland controls the water of life. Remember, it's mostly water. And guys, notice, I'm going to pull this up, bring this up. Right at the pineal gland, that's where they're doing this manipulation. And guys, they did not want the humans to wake back up after this DNA changing, as they were blocking God's antenna system to the human body. They knew that each generation that this would try to regenerate. And so the chemicals in that pouch have become, again, the modern chemicals, and I'll show you a list of some of those. Now, this is a diagram, guys, and you can see that the pineal gland is right in the center of the brain, and it kind of controls the pituitary gland. It's a relay from the things that affect your pineal gland, the sunlight, the DNA changes from, we've talked, again, gamma ray burst, solar flares. And then that controls the pituitary gland. It's the receiver and transmitter of the body there. But because of the pine cone shape, the pineal gland is often symbolized by a pine cone. In fact, many religions and mystical traditions around the world reference the pineal gland through the pine cone symbolism. The staff of the Egyptian god Osiris had two intertwining cobras meeting at the pine cone. You can see pictures of that online. Kundalini energy rising up to the third eye. This is talking about deep prayer and meditation, guys, and the energy that is created when God talks to you through your pineal gland. Don't think this is some kind of ancient mysticism that's evil. It's not. And I'll show you where Jesus talked about it at the end of the video. It says the Pope's staff also features a cone. Sacred ruins of Angkor Wat in Cambodia are also pine cone shaped, and numerous other examples. What causes the blockage of the pineal gland? Point of the video, 2 points. One is to make you realize this is God's transmitter and receiver system to you, not only to your soul but to your physical body, for longevity and health and mental well-being. The organ is your spiritual vision apparatus, your bridge between two worlds, kind of like CERN on the bad side. Physical and metaphysical, it allows you to have mystical and lucid dream experiences that are essential to your spiritual evolution. They are the message from the soul, and the pineal gland is the antenna designed to receive them. Again, this is achieved through prayer. Christ taught how important prayer was and how man had been dumbed down from this, even with his disciples. Remember, they couldn't stay awake while he prayed. Yet most people's pineal gland is shut down by the time they're 12 years old. Are you listening? You probably noticed it yourself. Kids are all intuitive and spiritual by nature, but we lose these abilities when we grow up. Why? The problem is the calcification of the pineal gland. The gland actually has a water-filled interior, which means that it calcifies with age and for other reasons. What specifically causes the calcification? Now, this is the water of life, guys. The water, it's electrochemical. It sends messages to your nerves throughout your body that God talks to you through. Now, when you destroy this water of life, you shut that message down. You shut that capability of the signal down. Now, how have we been introduced to this blinding of the eye? Fluoride in toothpaste and water. Guys, you know that your skin can absorb it, so the longer you take a hot shower or bath, the more you're absorbed. That's why it's so important. And I don't sell fluoride filters. Let's don't go there. To find one. Processed junk food, another addictive thing. Soda and other carbonated beverages. Refined sugars, fats, flour. Limiting beliefs. It talks about your spirit. Lack of spiritual practice, which is deep prayer. In other words, it's like any other muscle that you don't use. It becomes weak and useless. So not only do you have to clean it from the chemicals, you have to start using it. Fluoride is the greatest enemy of your pineal gland. It's harmless in very small quantities. In fact, it occurs naturally in water. However, fluoride in our tap water and toothpaste is not at all a naturally occurring fluoride, and the amounts of it far exceed the safety limits. Guys, did you know that 97% of European countries have now banned them from putting fluoride in their water because of this? It says the pineal gland accumulates fluoride, so it has the highest concentration of fluoride in the human body. And that is the primary cause of the pineal gland calcification. That's shutting you down, your ability to reproduce, your ability to talk, reproduce gene cells, your ability to talk with God, your ability to pray and meditate. And they chemtrailing the skies to block the rays that do it. Satan does not want you talking to God. He wants you destroyed before God gets here. Do you understand? In the picture at the Vatican, you see this pine cone. You see two peacocks. This pine cone originally was at a Roman temple for Osiris. The peacocks were not part of the original deal. They came from, I think it was called Hadrian's mausoleum. They are represented with the eye on the tail of the one seeing eye, and in the occult, the dark eye. And if your pineal gland is not receiving light, then your spirit and your body is dark light. But now what's happened? Before the Vatican moved this pine cone, it was a fountain. Water came out of the buds in the center, and it was an eternal flowing water, like the water of life. But by moving it, they killed the water of life from the pineal gland. This happened in the 1700s. The same time they started taking books out of the Bible to kill that knowledge from every way they could. They've attacked native tribes all over the world that have this information, to destroy it, to keep you dumb about what's going on in this world and keep you from being able to receive the benefits that God is sending you. But that's the evil. They kill that water of life. Guys, on the left is a healthy pineal gland, where the transmitters are working good through the water. On the right is what happens after they calcify you. It starts destroying all of that ability to transmit and receive, guys. Check us out today at 2:30 p.m. Central. We're going to talk about this on the show at Blog Talk. Heads up.